Okay, so we're going to work on the forehand fundamentals. So these are the things that we want you guys as coaches to be really consistent with all of us, so that we're all coaching using the same fundamental concepts. Now this is just the structure, so this is basically the bones of the stroke. From on top of the bones we can add different elements, but these are the things that we want to really maintain. So instead of using this only the red flag approach, things to avoid, we're actually going to implement some models, some things that we want to really exaggerate or really focus on with the players. So our grip in a forehand, we're using Michelle here. Our grip on a forehand is the number 3 bevel. So the index finger is along that number 3 bevel. This is an Eastern forehand. The number 4 bevel is also acceptable. So Michelle's going to hold the racket in that way. The left hand is a forehand grip with the left hand, so that's the number 3 on that side of the number 4. Okay, number 4 not as good. We can keep it on the number 3 in that position. The racket is dissecting the face. This is all the parts that we talked about already with that ready position. From here, from this position, her first move is a unit turn. So the body turns this way, so it's like the racket strings are pointing to the net post. It's like she's waving to a friend. That's a nice cue that we can use for players. From this position, you can see that the left heel is up, the hips and chest are facing sideways. So whether she's going to be hitting this ball as an open stance or she's going to have time to be able to hit the ball with closed stance, she still creates that torque with the upper body. From this position, the next step is she sits down into an imaginary chair. So that left foot steps out in front, the body is still sideways, the racket is up. Here she brings the hand down to the knees rather than the racket face. From this position, as she's coming through, what you'll notice is that the butt of the racket leads. So if she's laid on a ball, she's more likely or more prone to hit it down into the ground rather than to hit it here, because she's not using the wrist as a hinge. She's keeping that wrist stable through contact by having the racket pointing up. So here's her impact, and from here she extends long. This is how we create or generate this true top spin. We have length to our swing. At impact, her racket is parallel to the net. Okay, so this parallel impact is important, that she maintains this integrity throughout the entire swing. So we don't want the racket head up like this or down. We want it to be horizontal as far as the toe of the racket to the heel, and we want it to be parallel to the net in terms of the racket strings at contact. No more than 5 degrees one way or the other. After contact, she's going to come swinging right up so that the butt of the racket is pointing forward, the palm is facing out, the strings that she just struck the ball with are facing this way, the hips and the chest, so bring your hips a little bit more forward, are facing the net now, and she's finished. Okay, so you can relax. So the two hands stay together. The two hands prepare together, and as she strikes the ball, you can see how close the hands are together, and they finish together. So we hit the ball with a unit. Okay, so get the players to do a lot of shadow swinging, get them to get the stroke right first so that it's not a wrap and that it is truly a stroke of the body. Okay? Okay, so back into your ready position. One exercise that's really helpful that you can do with them is it's called mirroring. So I'm going to do my backhand as she does her forehand. So we pivot together, we check our heels, they're up like that. We sit into a chair. We bring our rackets forward to contact. From here, we spin that imaginary wheel. Our chest and hips are facing each other like this. The butt of the racket is facing forward. The part of the racket that we struck the ball with is over our opposite shoulder. We step back into the ready position again. Okay, so again, the forehand, turn, sit into a chair, bring that racket forward at contact, spin the wheel, and finish. Okay, so that's the basic look of the shot.